Hello, hello, community. Happy Thursday to all of us. I hope you and yours are doing great. Welcome to today's Thursday's community event on YouTube. As always, we're always thrilled to have these sessions with you all, community. We're always looking forward to these events with you. And as we have one of our four pillars, obviously, is education. So we always aim to deliver on a weekly basis on various platforms. Today, Thursday, it's on YouTube. We just had one on Monday. That was we had a Twitter space. And then Saturdays, we have on Telegram VCs. The aim is for us not just to have a place where we can socialize, but also, most importantly, a place where we can inform, educate, and inspire each other as we build this global village, this global community that we can all be part of. And that's the beauty of decentralized, this new decentralized and digital economy that we're having, or that we're experiencing right now. To get right to the thick of things, as you see, community, today's topic is BRICS and US dollar, the impact, US BRICS versus US dollar, and the impact on the crypto industry. That what impact will that have? All these two dynamics that we hear in the news consistently. So today's session, we really want to focus and dive deep into this topic, as it's all over the news, and there's so many, so much information going on, and I just want us to bring some clarity to everything and just look at things for what they are. Always, like, we like to zoom out, look at things from a bird's eye view to get a better perspective of everything. And then, of course, zoom in and have a better understanding of how that impacts not just our industry, the crypto industry as a whole, but also, of course, how it impacts our ecosystem, right? So with that said, community, there's a lot to unpack today. So I'd like us to really get right into it. Let's get to the comments. Let's see who's here. Let's acknowledge you all really quickly. And then we can jump right into the topic, as there's quite a bit to discuss today. And then, of course, we will come back to you at the end of things. We'll check with you if there are any infos, feedbacks, comments that you want to share. And if not, then we'll wrap up, of course, with another tweeting event. So that's the schedule, as you know, for today. So once more, welcome. And thank you all that were able to make it today. It's always a pleasure having these sessions with you all. So let's get right to the comments. I see Brother Dave is here. Good day to you, Steve, and community. I hope you and your family are doing well. The battle for global currency dominance is surely among us. Absolutely, absolutely. There's a saying that goes, never put a crisis to waste, right? And we're in the middle of something here that actually, it might seem like doom and gloom, but let's see what we can get out of it, So I'm looking forward to share this session, go through this session with you today. Brother Glenn is here as well. Grand Rising, everyone. Brother Steve, I hope all is well. To the community, let's get smarter and richer. Very well said. Absolutely, that's the aim for us to really, join forces and become more informed and more educated. And why not get wealthy while we're doing that? So, brother Queen Patricia is here as well. Queen Patricia, good evening, family, and a special good evening, Steve. We are here again to be informed and educated. Thank you again for your commitment. Stay protected and blessed always. Thank you so much, Queen Patricia. Always a pleasure having you here with us. Really thrilled to have you in the community. Thank you very much for being here with us. My brother Cryptorizer, good day, BULLRUN family. This is where the future millionaires come to learn. Brother Steve and Mama Wino are the best founders we could ask for. Endless education for crypto investors. Thank you both. Thank you so much for your feedback. Thank you for your kind words. Very much appreciated. You are just as much appreciated, Brother Cryptorizer. You are very consistent. You're always in the, with us, even though there's life happening outside and we might face some challenges outside. But it's always good to see you, and always good to have you in the community. Your positive energy, your consistency, very much appreciated. We have Queen Val here as well. Hello, Mr. Steve, our beautiful Queen Mother, and my fellow bull runners. Happy Thursday to us all. So excited about the topic. Can't wait to hear what Mr. Steve has in store for us. Beautifully said. Thank you very much, Queen Val, for being here as well, and for all your commitment and consistency as well. We have Queen Grace is here. Queen Grace, welcome. Nice having you here as well. Greetings, Mr. Steve, our Queen Mother, and the BULLRUN family. It has always been my joy to learn from you. Thank you for these detailed seasons you take us through. God bless you. Thank you so much, Queen Grace. Always a pleasure seeing you in the community, on social platforms. It's always a pleasure. Thank you for your commitment, your consistency, all your efforts you put out there. Very, very much appreciated, Queen Grace. We have Queen Mother Winner herself. Always a pleasure, Queen Mother Winner. Thank you for your leadership, your consistency, your encouragement. Greetings to all the amazing queens and kings. It's always a pleasure to connect with you all, family. Blockchain and cryptocurrency provides us with a path to a brighter future. Thank you, Steve, for all. Beautifully said. This is the beautiful thing about the blockchain technology and the cryptocurrency. Literally, it's a blank canvas, and it provides us literally with a path to a brighter future. It's up to us as a community, as an industry, to really make the best out of it. It's in our hands to achieve that. Beautifully said, Ma. That's very true. Of course, for all the new members, we have the links to our 3 tokens. We have the BULLRUN token, we have the website, the Telegram link. So welcome those that are new in the community. Welcome to join us. We're always pleased to have you in the community. If it's just to socialize, to be part of these community events, welcome. We have also the same link for Killer Whale. We have the website and the Telegram link as well. And also we have the same for Survivor Women token. We have the website and the Telegram link as well. So thank you very much, Queen Val, for supplying us with these links. A great Uncle George is here as well. Hi, Steve, Queen Mother and sisters, and all BULLRUN community, eager to learn more about the topic of today. It opens our understanding of the new developments in the world of crypto. Beautifully said, Uncle George. Always a pleasure seeing you in the community. Thank you for all your efforts, your commitment, your consistency as well. You are very, very much appreciated for all the efforts you put in. And absolutely, I am just as thrilled to really get into today's topic because it's something that affects us directly, everybody, the entire industry, not just the crypto industry, the entire financial industry. So yeah, I'm looking forward to really get into this today. As always, let's ensure that we interact with the algorithm by hitting that like button, and so that the word can spread and we can reach as many people as possible. That's the aim, the reach, so we can reach as many people as possible. So thanks, Queen Val, for mentioning that. And then we have Queen Nancy here as well. Love and light, BRL community. I pray every day. I pray everybody's doing great. It's a YouTube lifetime. Let's pay attention and learn more about crypto space. Thanks, Steve, for taking your time to educate us. Thank you very much also, Queen Nancy, for all your support, your dedication, your commitment. You're very much appreciated. With this said, community, let's get right into today's topic, as we have quite a bit to uncover. And I believe it's very important for us to really understand, have a broader understanding of what's happening around us, because all these things affect us directly or indirectly, depending on what geographic region we live in. And it's very important for us to be aware of a broader, have a broader understanding, broader knowledge, and be informed always. Because like we discussed in our last community event, we as crypto enthusiasts, we in the crypto space, we should be the most informed and educated, right? Simply because there's so much that is going on, right? We need to know about how our financial system works. We need to understand how inflation works, liquidity, the impact of it. We need to understand how tokenomics work, what are the challenges in the crypto space. We need to understand distributions, sustainabilities. We need to understand so many things. And the more informed we are, the more knowledgeable we are, the better choices, the better decisions we'll also make individually and as a community, and especially as an industry. So with that said, let's get right into it today. Let me share my screen so we can get right into the topic today. All right. As always, even in this topic today, we're discussing new monetary systems and potential new monetary system and an existing system. The US dollar being our reserve currency, global reserve currency right now. It's always good to understand where we are and to understand how our current financial system works, right? So the way our current financial system works, it's debt driven, it's highly inflationary. And in order to stimulate the economy, there need to be some printing going on, right? So that's the way to stimulate the economy. And to be fair, since 2020, so that's 4 years ago, the US dollar actually lost its purchasing power by 25%. So within 4 years. But here is a larger chart that you can see that in the last 100 years, basically, the US dollar lost over 90% of its purchasing power. And this is due to the monetary system that we see. It's debt driven, it's inflation. And the only way to stimulate the economy is by printing more fiat currency. This is not just the US dollar. This is euro. This is any other central bank. This is the way it operates. This is the current financial monetary system that we are part of right now. And we have, like Queen Mother said earlier in the comments, we have the opportunity to really reshape and reorganize and do things differently. We always have to think differently, think ahead, and find ways how to use this blockchain technology to the best advantage, and always put the community at the heart and see how best we can use the technology to better ourselves, better our communities, and better our monetary system, our financial system. We can do better than this community, right? So again, debt-driven, inflationary. The only way to stimulate the economy is by printing more, and this dilutes the purchasing power, right? This is our reality right now. So with that said, let's get into the topic today, right? So the topic is Brics versus the US dollar, and what impact will that have on us directly? The beautiful thing about our ecosystem, our community, is that one of our 4 pillars is education, right? And education is the bridge between traditional finance and the blockchain, right? And the crypto space. Because naturally, human beings, when we don't understand something, we tend to be drawn away from it, right? We don't want to embrace something new, something we don't know about, let alone something that we fear, we're not informed about. We don't want to embrace it. So education plays a major role in bridging, and bringing more individuals into the crypto space. So why am I saying this? It's because we will read a lot of headlines, right? We will read a lot of news, but always verify. Don't just take things for their face value, not even what I am saying, right? I'm just like the first point of reference, and I encourage everyone, even from after this, go and do your own research, go down the rabbit hole and inform yourself. So always verify what you're saying. And the reason why I'm saying that is I want us to go through the news right now. So what we hear is how the BRICS nations, they're about to launch the blockchain, right? And the blockchain will be also a cryptocurrency. It will be a new economic era, right? Because as of now, we're so accustomed to the US dollar dictating and going through the financial market. The financial system is based on the US dollar because it is the global reserve currency, right? So now with the BRICS in place, first of all, or who are the BRICS and what is BRICS, right? So in reason, the BRICS are actually breathing in a new fabric into the global economy, right? And the BRICS countries are Brazil, Russia, India, China, and South Africa. And along with additions, like beginning of the year, there were new additions that came now officially. These are Egypt, Ethiopia, Iran, and the United Arab Emirates as well. And actually, there are many other nations that are also in the queue and are still awaiting to be officially part of this BRICS. Now, they are also, the aim is to like pave their way slowly towards de-dollarization. At first glance, this sounds so, like it sounds so horrible. However, as we progress, we'll understand why they're doing this. So they're reshaping the entire financial dynamics on a global scale, because this has not been done before. Usually there's just one specific reserve currency, and that's what it's being used mostly to trade, to do whatever it's necessary, and it's the currency that leads every other currency. So with this new impacting BRICS nations coming together in alliance, their aim is to unveil, be innovative, use the blockchain-powered BRICS currency that they're about to unveil to the world, and also come up with a new payment system. And these nations are boldly challenging the established dollar dominance, like we said, and introducing possibilities for a multipolar world order, right? And now we're about to look at a closer look at what this will look like, right? So at the center of BRICS strategy is the launch of a blockchain-backed payment system. So first of all, what we see here is that BRICS is not just wasting time. They're really using this blockchain technology to its fullest, and this is something that is amazing. This just shows how this blockchain technology is the future, and this is how moving forward we are all about to we all experiencing the early stages of new economies and new financial systems. And this is beautiful, and we are in the middle of it. We are part of it. So the BRICS was designed to ease international transactions and reduce dependencies on the US dollar. Obviously, this digital platform is not only set to reduce transaction costs, but also aims to cultivate a more accessible, inclusive, and politically neutral global financial system, right? By presenting a new decentralized financial paradigm, BRICS is pushing for more equitable financial structure on a global stage, right? Let's read more. So they're reinventing the global geopolitical and economic landscape, right? So the very existence of BRICS groups are as a formidable intergovernmental organization, we have not had anything like it. Let me give some backstory. Before the US dollar, there were 5 other global reserve currencies, right? If we go back 5, it started with Portugal, right? Portugal was the first one, and then Spain, and then France, and then the Dutch, and then the British, the English, the pounds, and now the US. And they all experienced the same fate, right? And what was that fate? Is what we just looked at the beginning. And keep this in mind, community. So this is the 6th one now. US is the 6th one. They're trying their luck, and obviously it's not looking too good. And but before we conclude like that, let's listen to the end of the session. So we see that despite the Portuguese, the Spanish, the French, and then we have the Dutch, the English, and now the US, they all experience the same issue. This is not a sustainable monetary system. A debt-driven monetary system is not sustainable. An inflationary monetary system is not sustainable. And the only way to stimulate the economy by printing more money, causing more inflation, it's just simply not sustainable. And this is now the 6th nation, 6th reserve currency. And it's still not working. So there's a saying that goes, if you keep repeating the same thing, thinking that there will be a different outcome, that's the definition of insanity, right? And I'll leave it at that. I won't even go further than that. So here we are, beyond, that was just a backstory. So this is the sixth time a sixth nation is trying to have a different outcome of the same monetary system, but obviously it's not working. So what we need to understand here is that the initiatives from reserve currency basket to joint economic projects. So basically what Brics is, it's using the blockchain technology. This is what we need to know. It's using the blockchain technology. It wants to bring in more equality on a decentralized manner, right? And it's pushing equitable financial structures and a global stage. And it wants to bring more accessibility, inclusiveness, and a politically neutral global financial ecosystem, right? So these are the most important things these are takeaways we should have here, right? I don't want us to get too deep into it. This is not like a political community or a political channel, but unfortunately it affects us. So we need to have knowledge about this, what's going on. We need to be aware. Other things I want us to know about Brics is just that, let's look at some 3 items that how it will affect the US dollar. It might affect the US dollar, right? So the creation of the Brics currency will have several significant impacts on the US dollar, right? So by adopting a common currency such as Brics, right, these bloc members can conduct trade transactions without resorting to the US dollar. So this would lead to a decreased demand and supply of dollar, right, on an international stage, potentially weakening the dollar's value. So this is one of the 3 aspects. This is obviously when the Brics comes with their own currencies, and this Brics nation and any other members that want to be part of it, if they want to be, they'll be trading up with their own currencies, and they'll choose that currency over the US dollar. These obviously will weaken the US dollar. It will weaken the supply and demand of the US dollar. And this is one of the items. So let's look at something else. So the Brics currency also could erode the position of the US dollar being looked at the world's primary reserve currency. This is what we just talked about, right? Many countries hold the US dollar, right, to stabilize their own economies. But adopting an alternative currency could encourage diversification of these reserves. Such diversification would weaken, again, the US dollar dominance, right? Thereby reducing its influence on the global financial markets. And these are the fears that not just the US, but US partners and partner nations are fearful about as well, right? So, and finally, the creation of a common currency could allow Brics countries to strengthen their local currencies as well. And by doing so, their trade without relying on the US dollar, these economies could stabilize and enhance their own currencies, right? And this could challenge the US dollar in foreign exchange trading and foreign exchange markets, offering new competition and diversifying options for international transactions. So these are the 3 major things, and they all end up talking about the same thing. One is just, the bottom line is the supply and demand of the US dollar will decrease. These nations will be trading with their own, amongst themselves, not using the US dollar as much. And then finally, by doing so, they will literally strengthen their own currencies. And I really want to highlight this. I always like to make examples so that we're all on the same page and we really understand how this works. To put it in a really simple term, why is this such a big deal? Is because these nations have been purchasing the US dollar, right? And they've been earning interest, up to 5% interest, depending how long their treasury bills, the bonds were. So let's say they're earning 5% annually. So these treasury bills that they've been purchasing, they've been locking it away. So these debts are actually, these US dollars are kept away from the circulation. So if we look at that and make an example based on the blockchain, in blockchain terms, this is like removing US dollars from circulating supply, right? It's like and staking them somewhere. So as long as you are holding them in your wallet, so to speak, figuratively, these US dollars are out of circulation. So this is exactly what's been happening with these nations. They've been purchasing US dollar, keeping them out of circulation. But now the fear is that once they start selling these US treasuries, this means that they'll be literally flooding the market, right, with US dollars. And this, of course, will cause the US dollar to lose even more its purchasing power even more, because this is now will cause inflation. And if you see multiple countries doing this, and there will be like a spiral, because once the US keeps printing more money, it will put a lot of fear into these nations, and they in turn will also start selling because they don't want to hold worthless currencies. And they've seen 5 different nations go through this already, so they know exactly what happened to the Portuguese, they know what happened to the Spaniards, they know what happened to the French, the Dutch, the English, and now the US is experiencing the same thing. So history doesn't repeat itself, but it really rhymes, right? So they know what's coming. And if you see nations, especially the ones that are holding the most, start selling US dollars, everybody knows what's coming. So this is the whole worry that the economy has, right? Is because the US dollar really is facing a threat right now. And everybody knows what happens to those 5 nations before the US. And whenever nations start selling the global reserve currency, or there's a potentially new global reserve currency at work, such as Brics now, and these are not just any nations, right? These are large nations. Let's look at them. These are nations, like we say, Brazil, Russia, India, China, and South Africa. So let's look at what type of nations they are, right? So like we said, at the heart of BRICS are these 5 globally important nations, and each with its own unique set of resources, economic strengths, and geopolitical strategies. So if we look at Brazil, what are they known for? They're known for its vast agriculture output, right? And booming energy sector. That's Brazil. Russia is known for it's a hotbed for oil and gas production. India, it's a rapidly expanding tech industry and one of the largest workforces in the world, right? And most of the CEOs of the top S&P 500 companies are all from India, right? Look at the CEO of Google, CEO of Yahoo, CEO of all these other major companies. Most of them come from India. And China, the second largest economy globally, with an enormous manufacturing base, right? So, and South Africa, of course, it's rich in minerals and a key financial and logistic hub for Africa. So these are not just random nations. These are strategic, really strong nations that really are supplying a lot and adding a lot of value to the global GDP, right? Talking about GDP, gross domestic product, these nations are actually responsible for, they account for 40% of the global population. So BRICS is not just anything. This is something major. This is really a large, it's a big deal. And these are just the main actors. Like we said, the other countries that are coming. Even Turkey wants to join now. What's the name? Thailand also wants to join. Beginning of the year, we saw which nations joined already, right? We saw them here. We saw that Egypt joined, Ethiopia, Iran, and the UAE, right? And Saudi Arabia as well, by the way. And the thing with Saudi Arabia was they had a deal back in the 70s with the US, and they were actually running 100% of the petroleum, of oil, was traded in US dollar. That's the agreement they had. But now that also decreased, and that's not the case anymore. But one thing at a time, we'll get there. So I just wanted to highlight that these BRICS nations are strategically very strong nations, and they play a major role in the global trading industry, and they have their strengths, and they come together because they want to facilitate, bring in inclusion, and just enable and welcome anybody that wants to be part of the BRICS, right, members. So, and also what I just wanted to look at is, and this is very important, so from dollars to blockchain, right? So this is so beautiful. Again, BRICS, which now concludes Brazil, Russia, India, China, South Africa, Egypt, Ethiopia, Iran, and the United Arab Emirates, they all have well-documented strategy of de-dollarization, right? That aligns with the promotion of local currencies. And this is what I like about this. It's not like a euro. Like in euro, these 27 nations, they all are using euros, right? But with the BRICS nations, that's not the case. So this BRICS nation will still maintain their local currencies. However, they will use the BRICS currency for trading. So they'll trade under one currency, but they'll still have independent economies within their own nations. This is good, and let me make an example. For example, with BULLRUN. With BULLRUN, we are paired with the USDC, right? And we can use USDC, for example, and we can purchase more killer whale with it. We can purchase more survivor with it, right? And that's how it works. So this is exactly the purpose of the BRICS. So they're trading with the BRICS currency, and they can then use the BRICS to purchase, to buy out their local currencies, and this will increase the value of the currency, right? That's the whole idea. So this is what they're trying to do. So that's the purpose of it. I just wanted us to really understand that. And of course, like we said, BRICS, they have a new payment system that they want to make, and this will mark their quest for a dollar-independent future, right? And that's the whole idea. Also, what's important to highlight here is that over the past year, Expanded Alliance has not only welcomed new members, but has also deepened its commitment to using local currencies in a unilateral trading deal, right? So everybody can trade with their own local currencies. For example, if Russia trades with India, you know, they can trade commodities with their own local currencies. That's how it works right now. But now with the BRICS currency, they'll be able to use the BRICS currency to trade amongst themselves, and then use that BRICS currency to buy their local currency and to strengthen their local currencies, right? So this is the strategy that BRICS has. Let me make a clearer example. You see how right now, China, for example, they used to be the largest US Treasury holders, right? They had over trillions of dollars. Now they dropped down to roughly 800 billion. And so they are selling US dollars, and then they're using the dollars they sold to buy gold, right? So basically they are trading US dollars for gold. And they've been doing a lot of, they've been purchasing a lot of gold lately over the past years. And not only them, but all these BRICS nations have been heavily purchasing gold, because this BRICS currency will be backed, literally will be backed by gold. So it will be a cryptocurrency backed by gold. And this is also something I wanted to highlight. So at the 2023 annual summit, they always have annual summits, and the next one will be actually next week. This expansion was highlighted as a major step towards fostering a multipolar world order. And this has not been done before. The last 5 reserve currencies, besides the US, it was always one nation, and that's it. So it's nice to finally have like a coalition of nations actually representing different continents. and they're coming together, and they maintain their local currencies. However, they have a common currency that they use to trade amongst each other. So, and they're using the blockchain technology to do that. So this is major. This is major. With that said, another thing that we can read here is, like, we read articles such as BRICS countries could swing an economic wrecking ball at the dollar dominance, right? Even without shared trade currency. This is now a former White House economist is saying, right? So there's a lot of fear going on right now that, the dollar is about to just collapse. BRICS is going to single-handedly just dethrone the dollar. We are all just it's all doom and gloom, and so on and so forth. We need to be careful, like I said, where we consume our information from, because always verify. Don't just take things for their face value, and we need to. This is why it's important to understand the purpose of BRICS. Why do they do this? And how will that affect us directly? So instead of just being fearful and assuming, and it's important for us to really truly understand and get to the bottom of this. And this is what this session is about. I really want us to not be led by fear, uncertainty and doubt, but to really be confident in what's going on and understanding the economics of things, and why BRICS and US dollar, how that will affect us, and how that will is it something bad or is it something good? It's just something new, and they're all using the end goal is they all want to use the blockchain technology, and this is the best part about this. So what I want us to understand here is one thing also. Currently there is something known as the G7, right? So what is the G7? G7, similar to the BRICS, based on 7 nations, right? It's Canada, France, Germany, Italy, Japan, UK, US, right? And the EU is always represented as well. And under the umbrella of EU are 27 nation states, of course, as well. So, but the G7 represents, like I said, Canada, France, Germany, Italy, Japan, and the UK, and the US, of course. That's the G7. Well, why am I showing you this? It's because I just wanted to highlight that the G7 countries, they make up around 10% of the world's population, right? And I told you that the BRICS, they represent over 40% of the world's population. So it's way bigger than the G7, right? And another thing is they generate about 45% of global GDP, like I said earlier. They represent 45%. Again, this is Canada, France, Germany, Italy, Japan, and UK, and the US, right? And the entire Europe, like Europe as well. So as far as population, they represent 10% of the world's population. BRICS alone represent 40% of the world's population. So it's way larger population-wise alone. And they're among the biggest contributors to the funding for international organizations, and the countries for about they account for 75% of global official development, this and that, right? However, what we need to understand is here, that's just what I wanted to really highlight, the takeaway here. I wanted to just make an example of G7, the countries that they represent, and as far as global population is concerned, that the BRICS alone, they account for 4 times more population-wise than the G7, right? The entire Europe, Canada, France, Germany, Italy, Japan, UK, and the US. They're still 4 times smaller population-wise, global population-wise, than the BRICS. So that just shows you what an impact that BRICS would have or has if they really go through and follow through with a currency, right? So, like I said earlier, Russia is welcoming Turkey as well, as Turkey showed interest in being one of the BRICS members as well. Turkey is geographically nicely located because they both represent Asia and Europe, actually. They've been trying to be part of Europe, EU, for the longest, unsuccessfully. And now their finance minister last week had a speech and was asked in China whether they wanted to be part of the BRICS, and he said absolutely. They would like to, explore being part of the BRICS as well. So, and you see, Turkey is one of those nations that is highly affected with inflation. So obviously they'll benefit heavily as well to be part of this. And as we see here, Saudi Arabia was admitted, Argentina, Ethiopia, Iran, like we said, and UAE. So there are many, many more nations. Mexico is in there as well already, that want to be part of this BRICS nation and want to be added to it, And so this just shows you that the representation of the population is growing even more, and the GDP, of course, also is growing even more. And this brings a lot of pressure to the G7, right? Nations like we just looked at. And this literally brings a lot of pressure to them. Like we said, we already looked at the nations that are here, so we don't have to go through this. And this is what I wanted us to understand, right? This BRICS is not a simple thing. It's a big deal. They represent over 40% of the global population. They represent a very high GDP as well amongst themselves. They are emerging markets, and they all have strategically well located, and they play a major role. So this brings a lot of pressure to the US and the EU. And this is why, as we progress in this session, we'll learn even more. Let's move forward. So not just BRICS is the threat. Right now, also, we hear that within the US now, the US is experiencing other threats internally. And one of those is the banks, right? So hundreds of US banks are literally failing right now. And why are they failing? They're simply failing because there are minimum capital requirements, right? It's dipping. They don't have what we always talk about. Liquidity is key, right? So they don't have the capital requirement. Like if we would do a bank run on majority of these banks, they would go bankrupt because they don't have enough liquidity. They don't have enough funds within the banks to pay out their depositors, right? And based on this consulting firm, they analyzed over 4,000 US banks, and they found that 282 banks, they face this dual threat, right? They have bad commercial real estate loans that they can't pay out. They can't pay due to the high interest rates that we're facing right now. And the longer the interest rates are being left high like this, the more banks are getting ready to collapse. And this in the US alone. So not just the pressure from the BRICS nations is the US and the Europe facing, but now also they're facing internally, due to the high interest rates, they're facing banking collapse as well. This is also not all doom and gloom, because all we'll see is JP Morgan, Goldman Sachs, Citibank, UBS. These large banks are just going to just buy out all these smaller regional banks, and we'll just have less banks, but these small number of banks are going to literally dominate the global financial market. A majority of these large banks, including JP Morgan, of course, they're based in US, right? So if it comes to finance, asset management, and all of that, the US is still dominating, right? So now let's get to another topic now here. I always like to use this. We always say here that cryptocurrencies, they always have failed to the test of being digital money. I'll keep bringing this up until we really get it. So cryptocurrencies have failed to the test of being digital money, right? And the reason why they failed is because they are poor, right? Medium of exchange and a store of value. By now, we all know how to qualify to be a medium of exchange and a store of value, right? It's the best example right now is stablecoin. Stablecoin is literally a store of value. Why? Because they are literally so liquid that anybody can withdraw. They're more liquid than our banks right now. They're more liquid than our banks because these banks are failing because they don't meet minimum requirements. So a stable coin on the blockchain is more liquid than these traditional financial banks in the real world. They are failing because depositors, once they go and want to withdraw their deposits, these banks can't give them out. But that's not the case with stablecoins, because stablecoins, and I'm talking about the larger ones, of course. I'm talking about USDT and USDC right now. Of course, there have been other stablecoins that also went belly up. Let's just be realistic, right? I'm talking about like USDT, of course, and USDC. Especially USDC. They're transparent, they're regulated, their funds are managed by BlackRock itself. They're, so they're very transparent. So that's why stable coins and not cryptocurrencies are playing a major role in the financial ecosystem in the future, right? And this is very, very important. And if we even go back to Brics, this is why even Brics currency is going to be backed by gold. So they want to go back to the gold standard, and they want to be backed by something, by an asset, right? So, and now that we understand why stable coins are the future of financial ecosystem, it's because unlike the traditional banks, which don't even have minimum capital requirements, and they're failing because depositors can't even get their money out, and that's horrible, right? So let's never trust, let's always verify. So let's start verifying this. How important is this blockchain technology and cryptocurrency? How does it really affect us? It has such a big effect that even the Ethereum approval becoming an ETF, Ethereum ETF approval was literally a political issue, right? And now we see why. The pressure from the Brics, right? They're organizing themselves. They're coming with a blockchain-powered Brics currency. They're coming with a blockchain payment system. They have they're multi-nations, large nations with big influence. There are other nations that are joining, and these are strategically large nations, specifically Saudi Arabia. They're known for oil. They have the largest resources of oil. UAE just as much, right? And they all want to be part of Brics. So this is pressure. And this is why you saw the US politics now speeding things up, because like we say, the Ethereum blockchain is literally the representative of the cryptocurrency industry, because that's where all the applications are, that's where all the liquidity are, that's where all the smart contracts are, that's where all the developers are. That's the most adopted blockchain. That's the only deflationary blockchain, and it's the most stable blockchain, actually. So, sustainability wise and security wise, it is. And this is also the reason why even the New York Stock Exchange said that they would even consider trading crypto, right? As long as regulatory picture is clearer. And this was not said by anybody. This was said by the president, right? And the CEO as well. So this just shows you that the US is feeling that pressure. And they're seeing that now cryptocurrency has become now a political matter now. And it's important for them now to really speed up, because these Brics nations are no longer based on the news, right? They're no longer interested in purchasing US debts anymore, right? They want to have their own currency on the blockchain, and they want to do that because they want to empower themselves, and they want to be free from all the sanctions that the US always levies on them. And this is why they want to stay away from the US dollar, right? Because The US is weaponizing the US dollar against them. So again, we see that if there were clarity as far as regulations, even the US New York Stock Exchange would consider trading crypto in the New York Stock Exchange, which is the largest stock exchange in the world, right? Okay. Look at other things. We discussed this as well last time. We even saw that the largest bank, right? And these are the same individuals. This is Singapore, right? This is the Monetary Authority of Singapore. They're the ones that really understand that stablecoins, not cryptocurrency. These are the same individuals that said stablecoins, not cryptocurrency, will be part of our financial ecosystem. Look what they did. Look at what they did. These are the same individuals that said cryptocurrencies are no good. Their largest bank is a whale. They purchased so much ETH that they're one of the ETH whales now. 650 million watt in ETH, right? So this is how quickly things can change. And they already, like we said, made over 200 million in profits just by holding ETH alone. So we see how institutions are also getting involved because this is now becoming extremely political now. And they understand that the only way out is literally through cryptocurrencies, right? Through the blockchain technology. Let's go further. With all these regulations coming in, the topic here is, let me scroll up. Within this month, MiCA is getting ready to be launched. And MiCA regulates exchanges, custodians, and stablecoin. So starting this month, by the end of this month, Binance will start delisting stablecoins in Europe, right? And when we talk about stablecoins, usually we only talk about two stablecoins. That's usually Tether or USDC, right? Tether is facing a lot of trouble right now because, first of all, they've not been transparent, they've not been regulated, right? And USDC is being regulated, right? They're under the SEC, and they are transparent, and the assets are clearly managed. We all know which bank they're using to keep their cash reserves, which is a New York bank, Mellon, and we know who's managing their reserves, their treasury bills. It's BlackRock, and they're regulated, right? So what we're about to experience, community, like we discussed, is that we're about to experience a USDC dominance as far as USD stablecoins, because one of the larger centralized exchanges have already delisted Tether from all pairs that they have on the exchange, simply because there's new European legislations that is taking full effect end of this month, right? So this just shows you that being compliant, being regulated is a good thing, especially as a stable coin. This is something that is starting to pay off for USDC. And this will be a huge hindrance for USDT. So they would have to put their act together, get licenses in the US, in Europe, and get a banking license also in the US in order to maintain their dominance. If they don't, they'll literally lose their dominance, and USDC is going to literally take over. And all of this is, like you said, Binance's decision to delist stablecoins to comply with MiCA, right, is not the only instance of changes in the name of compliance, right? So many companies and nations have been shifting in order to meet the new standards. So these are standards that have to be met. If you don't meet them, you can't have stablecoins in Europe or in the US either. And those are the two largest markets right now. So let's move further. So far, we've talked about how the US is in danger, right? Because the Brics nations are putting their act together. We've talked about how internally the US is in trouble because banks are collapsing, especially the smaller ones, the rural ones, regional ones, right? So we've been painting this doom and gloom, right, scenario, but not everything is like that. Let's start verifying things, right? It's now time to verify. That was all news that we read, but let's fact check. Always verify. So let's start with the verification process now. So we was told that these nations are no longer purchasing US debts, right? And how Brics is literally going to dethrone US dollar overnight, right? And these are the facts now. So foreign holdings of US treasuries, they actually surged to all-time high in December of last year, just 6 months ago. They're actually hitting all-time high. And let's look at the numbers. So this is New York, February 15th. Foreign holdings of the US, right? Treasuries, this is US debts, soared to another all-time peak in December. Wait, didn't we just read how Brics is going to literally demolish the US dollar and how the dollar is in danger, right? And all of that? Always fact check, always verify your sources, always understand what's going on. Let's continue. So this is data from the Treasury Department, right? And we see how holdings of the US Treasury rose actually to $8 trillion in December. This is combined foreign holdings, US foreign holdings, so US debts. It's $8 trillion since December, so 6 months ago, from what was then a record high of 7.8 trillion. So it increased actually. So compared with the year earlier, treasuries held by foreigners expanded by 10%. So actually, like we just read, compared to a year ago, the foreign treasury holders actually expanded by 10%. So the increased buying of treasuries continued a trend of the last few months, right? But we need to understand, after the yields dropped at the market price, so it's always about the interest rates. So interest rate cuts by the Federal Reserve. So we need to always understand that don't just take things for the face value, always verify. Verify what you read, verify your news in order to really understand what's going on. So let's look at the three largest holders of the US debts. They are Japan, China, and UK, right? So led the purchase US government. They're the ones that have the most US debts. So Japanese investors raised that stash of treasuries to 1.1 trillion in December, right? So they also increased purchasing US debts. So it increased, right? So the holdings were the largest since August 2022. So Japan is the leader as far as purchasing US debts. So again, like we say, they remain the largest US treasury holders, US government debt holders, right? And now second is China. China holds 816 billion, right? They're up by 34 billion from 782 in November, right? And they loaded up treasuries rose for a second straight month. So the past 2 months, they've been actually loading up on US debts, right? However, before that, China treasury holdings had declined for 7 straight months. So before that, it declined for 7 straight months. And this was due to, like we were discussing, they were selling US dollars, US debts, and buying gold with it, right? But for the past 2 months, that stopped, and they've been actually purchasing US debts again. So since March 2009, so this is like what, 15 years ago, this was the lowest, 763 billion. This was the lowest since 2008, but now they're up 816. So they're hitting all-time highs, right? So these are just items that I want us to understand, that always verify your sources. If you listen to news, most of them are just being dramatic or just want to sway individuals to think a certain way or to just bring FUD and tell you, okay, now that that is happening, go buy gold, go buy Bitcoin, right? And just instill fear in you. But we know better. So we understand that that's not the case. Let's continue. Another thing that is very important also, and this is now the US strategy, and we need to understand this. The US strategy is, one of them, of course, is stablecoin, like we discussed. Stablecoins are very important because now with the stablecoin regulations, it will require, as far as US, it will require a banking license, and it will require US stablecoin issuers to purchase US debts, right? So instead of BRIC nations purchasing the US debts, which total 8 trillion, right, in total, these US stablecoin issuers will be required to purchase them, to purchase US debts. But even more important than stablecoins now are the so-called real-world assets and that whole tokenization thing. Keep in mind, and this is very important, I want us to understand that foreign holding of US debt is at 8 trillion, right? Just 8 trillion. We just looked at that. And I want us to understand US strategy right now. So BlackRock just came out with this new liquidity fund, right? And they're tokenizing treasury bills. And they came up with this little BULLRUN fund, right? Like we just discussed, liquidity fund. And this fund it has only one purpose, and its purpose is to purchase US debts. That's it. And it will purchase US debts by offering tokenized version of US debts. So investors can purchase their BULLRUN token, and this BULLRUN token is paired to USDC, right? This BULLRUN token is paired to USDC, and the initial investment was 100 million worth of USDC. So why is that so? And this is the USDC stablecoin, right? Which is on the Ethereum blockchain. So this is the strategy, community. All these real-world asset platform that and all this Larry Fink pushing real-world assets all day long is simply part of the strategy to keep the US dollar as the dominant currency in the world, right? And the whole idea is to ensure that these tokenized assets, these real-world assets, which represent 400 trillion, right? They want to be brought on chain, on the blockchain, and they'll be backed by this BULLRUN token, which is BlackRock's liquidity fund. And this fund, the revenue they generate, they keep buying US debts. So this fund literally will be replacing all these BRICS nations. And in total, foreign debt is 8 trillion, like we just saw. But for example, the gold alone is over 16 trillion. So if gold alone is tokenized and brought on the blockchain, it's already, and this is and BlackRock's liquidity fund is the one backing it by purchasing US debts. That 16 trillion already represents double of the foreign holdings, right? Combined, it's 8 trillion. Foreign holdings combined, it's 8 trillion. But the gold market alone is 16 trillion. So do you get where this is heading? So if Larry Fink manages to tokenize, this is why he always pushes tokenization. So if he can manage to tokenize real-world assets and bring them on the Ethereum blockchain, right, like we see here, bring them on the Ethereum blockchain, and they already started with 100 million in USDC. So this will cause, let's say they have that 16 trillion in gold. They tokenize gold, bring gold on the chain. Now they have 8 trillion worth of their BULLRUN token and 8 trillion worth of USDC stablecoin. So combined, it's 16 trillion. So that alone will be representing double the amount of foreign debts. And this is the whole idea. The idea is that BlackRock and your Circle, which is the USDC stablecoin issuer, they in partnership want to be the largest US debt buyers. And they want to do that by being Circle being the global reserve currency bank, digital bank, right? And with BlackRock, they want to tokenize everything. And this liquidity fund is strictly here to purchase US debts. So this liquidity fund will be buying US debts in the trillions of dollars, surpassing total foreign treasury holders, which is only at 8 trillion. And this is why I'm telling you, when you hear this news in regards to Brics is getting ready to dethrone the dollar, the US dollar, everything is doom and gloom. We are going to hell right now. Everything is bad. Don't take that to its face value, okay? Because if you look at facts, it's not going to happen. Because don't believe what I just said. Let's fact check what I just said, right? Like I said, Circle plans to become a full reserve national digital currency bank, right? In order to be that, they'll need a license, right? And coincidentally, and I'm being sarcastic here, Circle needs a US bank anyway license to be a stablecoin issuer. So all these things are being planned. They are strategically being put in place. This means that Circle is literally going to be handed a banking license, because now they'll be purchasing US debts and they'll become the full reserve bank that they want to become by purchasing trillions of dollars in US debts and by backing their stablecoin with US debts. So all these BRICS nations doing what they want to do, it won't even put a dent into the US dollar and their plans. It won't even matter, right? It won't even matter at all, because Circle becoming a full reserve bank and purchasing US treasuries, US debts, and BlackRock tokenizing everything, which is literally in the 300-400 trillion, right? And foreign reserves are only at, foreign debts are only at 8 trillion. So even if BRICS do what they want to do, it won't put a dent on the US dollar. That's the bottom line. But don't trust what I say. Let's verify, right? Let's verify. So the potential BRICS currency would allow these nations to assert their economic independence while competing with an existing international financial system. Now, this is important. The current system is dominated by the US dollar, right? Now, let's read this, which accounts for what? 90% of all currency trading. So the US still, at this time, accounts for 90% of all global trading, still. And until recently, nearly 100% of oil trading was conducted in US dollars, right? Like we said. However, in 2023, only one-fifth was traded in foreign non-US dollar currencies. So it dropped from 100 to 80%. Still, it's dominating. So it really didn't put a dent, a major dent into that, right? So the news is just being overly dramatic, and we need to really appreciate this and understand this, that the whole de-dollarization thing is not as dramatic as the news, as the outlets are putting it. Because the only reason why they're putting it so dramatic and making it sound like the dollar is just about to crash next week is because after putting that fear in you, they tell you to go and buy Bitcoin, right? Go and buy gold. Those are the reasons why. But the reality is that the US is still dominating. 90% of all trades are still in the US denomination. 80% of oil trades are still in US denomination, right? BlackRock's fund that wants to tokenize everything in the hundreds of trillions Like I said, the US stock market alone is 50 trillion. So that alone, when tokenized through this BULLRUN token that is purchasing US debts and backed by US debts, that alone, just the US real estate market alone is 50 trillion. So that alone will surpass the entire foreign holding of US debts. And that's Japan, UK, and China. That's like 10 times, not 10 times, like 7 times or 8 times the amount of what the entire US Treasury, foreign US Treasury holders are having right now. So it's not even a dent in there. So this is why I'm telling you, like, through this tokenized liquidity fund, through BlackRock, and through Circle being a full reserve national bank, by this happening, whatever Brics wants to do, it won't affect the US dollar. It won't affect it, right? Like I say, don't trust what I just said. Let's verify. If we look at the numbers, these are the 10 largest economies in the world, right? Of course, the US is the largest economy. It has 25.5 trillion, right? This is the US. So the second is China. China has 17, let's say 18, 17.5, so 18, right? So 7.5 trillion less than the US. Let's look at the BRICS nations. So China is here, let's say 18 trillion. India is here, 3 trillion, that's 21. And then Russia, only 2 trillion, that's 23 trillion. And that's it. So even if you put Russia, India, and China combined, you still don't get to what US has. US alone, right? This is without the G7. This is without the G7 that we were talking about earlier. Remember? That is Canada, Italy, Japan, right? These are the rest. These are the G7. G7 is United States, Japan, Germany, UK, France, Canada, Italy. They all have way more combined GDP economies than the BRICS so far. So all the FUD news that you hear in the news, just don't take it by its face value. That's the whole idea here. And what I want you to know also is that the strategy that the US is implementing by using stablecoins to purchase US treasuries, by allowing this liquidity pool to tokenize everything, liquidity funds to tokenize and provide liquidity for everything as they are purchasing treasury bills also, and also allowing Circle to become a full reserve digital bank. These three things combined will keep the US dollar on top of its game. It will maintain, this is how US dollar will maintain its global reserve currency status, right? Through adopting the blockchain technology and by enabling US Circle to be a full reserve national bank, by enabling BlackRock to tokenize everything, the entire stock market, and also allowing stablecoins, USDC, to be the dominant currency and to be the de facto CBDC in the US, right? When these three things happens and US is single-handedly dominating the crypto space as far as stablecoin is concerned, that's how they'll really remain the global reserve currency. And now they won't have to worry about these nations which have only 8 trillion combined treasury debts. They won't have to worry about that. This liquidity fund alone will catch 10 times what foreign reserves are holding in treasury bills. And with Circle becoming a full reserve national bank, that alone will be able to purchase enough debts, US debts, to catch all the other BRICS nations as well. And why is that so important to us now? Let's zoom in to us now, right? Let's zoom into us. How does that affect us as an ecosystem? First of all, we are paired with USDC, right? So it's very important for us that because we are paired with USDC. USDC currently is the most regulated, most transparent stablecoin in the industry. It will be supported by the government to become a full reserve digital bank because it's in the best interest of the US, and it's in the best interest for the US to stay, to remain the global reserve currency. And also by embracing the blockchain technology, and especially, most importantly, using politics to list Ethereum ETFs and approve Ethereum and consider Ethereum a commodity, this will help BlackRock, right, to purchase also US debts using this liquidity fund, because this liquidity fund, like we said, it's nowhere else other than on the Ethereum blockchain, right? And this BULLRUN token, that is literally tokenized version of US debts, is paired by USDC, Circle's USDC stablecoin. So you see that everything is done strategically, and this is why you saw these individuals saying very clearly that it will be stablecoins, more specifically USDC, that will be part of the financial ecosystem in the future. Why did they say that? It's not going to be euro, it's not going to be yen, it's not going to be yuan, it's going to be USDC, simply because of this. Circle is going to be a full reserve digital bank. BlackRock is going to tokenize everything using USDC, Circle's USDC stablecoin on the Ethereum blockchain. So if Ethereum was considered a security, this will be the end of the US dollar, because there would be no other way because there won't be no other way for the US to redeem themselves and remain the US reserve currency, right? So all these things have to happen. This is why there were so many things that were involved right now. Politics is involved right now. Ethereum had to be declared officially a commodity now, so that everybody else can be, preparing themselves, getting their ducks in a row, and ensuring that this liquidity fund is put in place. Ethereum gets the ETFs, liquidity starts flowing into the blockchain, and so on and so forth. And this all is great for us. So everything else is noise. All this FUD that is going on, or the US dollar is about to collapse, the US dollar is going to, is going to crash, rush, buy Bitcoin, rush, buy gold, is just noise. It's just noise, right? It's not the truth. We just saw here that based on facts and based on the numbers we just looked at, that's not the case. And we need to really verify our sources. Don't take everything by its face value. Always verify, always double check, and don't just run with everything that you hear in the media. And this was important for us to just let you know. This is good for us because Ethereum blockchain is being backed by BlackRock and the government, right? So this is great. This is where the liquidity fund of BlackRock is on. It's on the Ethereum blockchain. And this is where the Circle's USDC stablecoin has the most liquidity on. It's on the Ethereum blockchain. And all these regulations are being put in place right now so that they'll start purchasing US debts. Once that happens, this is going to happen. Now they'll be able to print trillions of dollars without fearing that nations will not buy their debts. However, once this liquidity fund starts purchasing US debts, once Circle starts purchasing US debts, and they get this, they become a full reserve national digital bank, they'll be purchasing trillions of dollars in US debts. And once this tokenization starts, they'll tokenize trillions of dollars using their liquidity fund. And all of these funds will be used to purchase treasury bills, which is US debts. And this will cause or give the governments, the Feds, the green light to stop printing even more money. They've been doing this for hundreds of years now. And this is how, compared to the last 5 nations, Portugal, the Spanish, Dutch, French, and the British, right? US, what sets them apart and will keep them, make them retain the status of being a global reserve currency is the blockchain technology. This is what sets them apart, and this is what's going to save them, is the blockchain technology. And this is why, contrary to popular news, the US will be the dominating denominated stablecoin on the blockchain. And they're going to maintain their status simply by, like we said, tokenizing everything. And like we saw here, they're already, even if you take China, India, and Russia, they still can't keep up with the 25.5 trillion that the US alone has a higher GDP than the Brics combined, right? And US is not alone. They have Canada, Germany, Japan, UK, France, and Italy on their side as well, right? And as long as they stick to their plan by tokenizing everything, bringing it on the blockchain, Ethereum blockchain, and giving Circle the license to become the full reserve digital bank, because within the US, we saw what's happening, right? They have a banking issue. So this is all part of the plan. And to solve this issue, because the issue of the banks is they don't even have minimum requirements, right? Capital requirements. If there is a bank run, they can't keep up because they are fractional reserve bank. So it only makes sense for Circle to become a full reserve national digital bank to avoid all these banks from crashing. And Circle is backed by Goldman Sachs, by BlackRock, by Coinbase, by all these large players. So it's all one plan that is being put in motion, and we'll be one of the beneficiaries for that because we are on the Ethereum blockchain. All the liquidity is about to come on the blockchain, and it's in our best interest because Circle, we are paired with Circle's USDC stablecoin, and it becoming a dominant cryptocurrency like we see here. They'll be playing a major role in the financial ecosystem, right? And if you stake your BRL, you receive the most dominant stablecoin in the financial industry. This will bring a lot of awareness, and it will attract a lot of new individuals to our ecosystem as well. So this is what I wanted us to really understand here, the bottom line. So if we hear news right now on how Brics is going to cripple the US dollar, how the US dollar is just getting ready to collapse, run and buy Bitcoin. Bitcoin is your savior. Keep in mind, Bitcoin doesn't even have the liquidity, right? Bitcoin has a horrible liquidity to market cap ratio, only 1 billion. That's it. So how can buying Bitcoin help you, right? It's something that doesn't, you might as well, Bitcoin is experiencing the same thing like these banks. They don't even have a capital requirement. They're failing because there's no liquidity. And this is the same thing with Bitcoin. This is why the ETFs are here, right? This is why BlackRock is the #1 as far as ETFs. They have 21 billion in liquidity, whereas Bitcoin centralized exchange is only 1 billion. So how come BlackRock in 4 months has retained 21 billion in liquidity and Bitcoin is still stuck at 1 billion, right? This just shows you that with Bitcoin, ETFs are superior because this is where everybody wants to trade, where there is the most liquidity, right? And that will be the difference with Ethereum. Ethereum will have tons of liquidity thanks to BlackRock, because BlackRock chose Ethereum blockchain for its liquidity fund, and they chose Circle USDC. So USDC stablecoin will be the most liquid stablecoin in the world. It will surpass USDT, It will play a major role in the future of the digital financial ecosystem. And we are paired with USDC. And if you stake your BRL, you receive USDC. So this will be a major, our ecosystem will be extremely attractive to individuals that really want to basically be able to stake, because we have a sustainable staking platform, and receive USDC distributions, right, in a sustainable manner. So with all these regulations in place, with all the plans that BlackRock has in providing liquidity for tokenized assets and buying US treasuries, as we speak, community, let me check. Killer Whale is out, community. Killer Whale is out. Let's engage with Killer Whale. So everything is falling in line, community. That's the bottom line. Everything is falling in line perfectly. We are on the right blockchain, Ethereum blockchain. We are paired with the right stablecoin, USDC. We have a sustainable ecosystem, right, that is literally in the business of retaining liquidity, right? We have a sustainable staking platform, and we are scarce. There is no staking platform out here that is scarce. Don't take my word for it. Don't take my word for it. Let's verify, right? So let's go to the fast staking platform. We can pick any of these, because even Avalanche, these are blockchains. These are blockchains, right? These are blockchains. They all have staking platforms, by the way. And if you look at them, but more specifically, let's look at Uniswap, right? Uniswap has been doing great lately. They have a staking platform, right? So with Uniswap staking platform, and Uniswap has an unlimited supply, by the way. You see where it says max supply? There is no max supply here. So that means the inflation will keep going. It will keep going, right? And if we look at Aave is the #1, and Uniswap, I don't have to introduce Uniswap. We all know Uniswap is the #1 decentralized exchange. Now, if we look at Aave, Aave is the #1 lending platform. #1 lending platform. It has a volume of 70 million right now. 70 million. But you see that due to its inflation, right? Due to its inflation, you see how it's extremely inflationary. And because it's inflationary, you see that it just keeps dropping. Even though it has like 70 million in volume, just 24-hour volume. So this is why I'm telling you that there is no staking platform out here on the Ethereum or any other blockchain that is scarce. There is none. And we started with 1 million, right, in total supply. And now we're down to 970. And this supply keeps shrinking. And our staking platform is the #1 contract. You see there's a smart contract. You see contract. And right now is close to 58% that is being staked right now. So if you combine 58% being staked, and this number will keep increasing. And we have a scarce supply, meaning this supply will keep shrinking also. And we maintain a trading volume like we saw here. Even if we had this is like 70 million in trading volume. If we even just had 10 million in trading volume, we can do the math here, we can do the math. But what I want us to understand is we are retaining liquidity. So we are retaining liquidity. We are scarce, not just deflationary, but scarce. We have a sustainable staking platform. And all of this is sustainable because we are efficiently using our trading volume. Because through trading volume, we retain liquidity, we burn tokens, and we accumulate USDC. And this is sustainable, meaning the more trades that come in, the more liquidity. The more liquidity, the more traders. And the more traders, the more ban. The more ban, the more traders come in, because they see that their trades are great. And meanwhile, more USDC is being accumulated also. So I always want to do the math, So let's say we only have 10 million in volume, right? We only have 10 million in volume. And we multiply by 0. So that's 100,000, right? Just very humble. We say 100,000. So that's 100,000. That means 100,000 worth of BRL tokens will be banned in 24 hours, right? That means 100,000 worth of USDC distributions are being added to the smart contract, right? So if we go here, this is the smart contract. Right now we have 1,300 in USDC, right, for staking. But now it will be 100,000 USDC based on the math, right? So 100,000 worth of USDC every day for the community will be distributed to the community. And now if we multiply this by 3, this 300,000, and this 300,000 will be just in the liquidity pool, added to the liquidity pool every single day. And this is just based on 10 million in volume. This is literally not much at all. It's nothing. But even that will be enough to keep banning tokens, keep adding liquidity, and keep giving back to the community every single day in a sustainable way. And while all this is happening, our supply keeps shrinking, right? And our staking percentage keeps increasing, right? And the supply here keeps shrinking too, because the banning comes from here. The ban supply comes from here. And this is the liquidity pool, right? So we have a very sustainable ecosystem that will take the most advantage of BlackRock being on the Ethereum network and all this liquidity through USDC stablecoin coming to Ethereum network, right? And also, once Circle becomes a full reserve national digital currency, and it helps the US dollar to remain or retain its US global reserve currency status, it will make USDC a very attractive cryptocurrency, right? To become the financial ecosystem of the future. And if you're told that you can stake your BRL tokens and receive the largest and most attractive stablecoin in the industry, it will bring a lot of attention to us, to our ecosystem, right? So while you're holding a scarce commodity, you are entitled and you are securing the network by staking your BRL tokens, you're receiving USDC distributions. The deeper the liquidity, the higher the trading volume, right? And this is the aim of everything, community. So the bottom line is that the US dollar is not going anywhere. Let's not believe the hype. The only reason why they're telling you that is because they want you to buy either gold or Bitcoin, right? So they telling you, oh, US dollar is about to crash, rush, hurry, go and buy Bitcoin, go and buy gold before the US dollar goes to zero. Brics is coming. But if you look at the numbers, if you look at that, still the trades are still at 90%, and even oil trades are still at 80%, and the US GDP alone is more than the Chinese, the Indian, the Russian combined, right? So let's be smart, let's be informed, let's be educated, let's know better, let's not deal with emotions, let's deal with facts, and let's verify information. Let's not always take things by their face value. The future is bright for us because as long as the US government has buyers of the US debts in the form of BlackRock's liquidity fund, or Circle's being a full reserve bank, or USDC being backed by treasury bills, they'll keep printing. And as long as the government is printing, that's how they stimulate the economy, right? And because BlackRock's fund, liquidity fund, tokenizing everything, it will be more than this 8 trillion that is foreigners holding US debts. It's only 8 trillion. So the gold market alone, tokenized in the gold market alone, is double, it's 16 trillion. So it's double what foreigners are holding, right? So all the fear that, oh, Brics is going to jeopardize US dollar, all this is just noise. We just looked through verifications. We just verified that that's not the case. It's not going to happen, at least not anytime soon. And if the US sticks to the plan through BlackRock and tokenizing everything and giving Circle the license to become a full reserve digital bank and allowing Circle, allowing USDC to be the largest stablecoin, right, by issuing licenses for them, it's a done deal. The US dollar is not going anywhere. And because we are paired with the US stablecoin, this is important for us, right? Because we are paired with USDC. So this is good for us. And we are issuing out USDC distributions for stakers too. So we need to be on top of this news. And this is exactly what's important for us to know. And our ecosystem is extremely sustainable. We have a very sustainable staking platform. We are retaining liquidity. We are scarce. And these are the important aspects that you need in a community token, because unfortunately, our top blue chip community tokens are not built to be sustainable, unfortunately. They don't have a sustainable staking platform. As a matter of fact, because Doge is on a proof of work, it's basically a copy of Bitcoin. You can't stake it anyway. But let's say the second largest one, I'm not going to name any names, they don't have a sustainable staking platform, right? They're not retaining liquidity. They can't expand on a larger scale. And this is not to bash them at all. This is just to show that there's so much inefficiency in the industry still. And that's not just meme coins. We're talking about, we can start from the top. Bitcoin is not retaining any liquidity. We see Bitcoin's liquidity is at 1 billion, 1.4 billion. So they're not doing any better, right? This is why it took BlackRock to bring in liquidity. BlackRock within 4 months came up with 21 billion in liquidity, right? People can trade hundreds of millions here or billions here and it's fine. But you can't trade billions here. Even though you have like a 1.4 trillion market cap. You should be able to trade billions, but you can't because there's only 1.4 billion in the liquidity pool, right? So if in 4 months there is 21 billion, so what about the end of the year? We might see 60 to 80 billion by the end of the year. Who knows? Because pension funds are still not in. Like I said, all these liquidity funds that are about to be put out, they're still not in. So eventually we'll see 100 billion or even more. But one thing for sure, this liquidity fund on the Ethereum blockchain is going to be the largest. This is what we're looking forward to because it's on the Ethereum blockchain. So let's see what else is out. Yeah, we're still waiting for other tweets to come out as well, community. So far, Killer Whale is out. Let's ensure that we engage with Killer Whale. And this is it for today, community. I really just wanted us to understand that let's not take everything by its face value. When we see headlines such as this, especially such as this, how the US dollar needs to worry and all of that, let's just take a deep breath and understand that it's not going anywhere. It's not going anywhere. Check your sources, always verify. Don't just believe everything you're being fed. It usually serves the best interest of the individuals that are putting out that news. And usually they're telling you to go run buy Bitcoin so that you can be the exit liquidity, because there's not enough liquidity in here. So they want you to go and be the exit liquidity, right? Just be careful and ensure that you're part of ecosystems that are retaining liquidity, right? such as ETFs, such as BlackRock. BlackRock is all about liquidity. They came into Bitcoin, they have the largest liquidity. They came onto Ethereum, they want a liquidity fund. They already have the deepest liquidity, right? Everywhere they go, they want liquidity because they understand that with liquidity comes transactions, and that's how they generate revenue, right? So if you don't have any liquidity, you won't have transactions. Without transactions, you don't have an economy. So I don't understand why it's not common sense to developers that if you develop an ecosystem, make sure that it retains liquidity, right? And that it's scarce, at least it's deflationary, if not scarce, and that it has a sustainable staking distribution, and that you use your volume efficiently. The sad thing is, look at Bitcoin's volume, 19 billion. Let's do this one last math as we're waiting for the other tweets to come out. Look at Bitcoin's volume, 19 billion, right? Just for the sake of it, let's use Bitcoin's volume and look at if Bitcoin had our fundamentals, how much liquidity would it have by now, right? Or within a year. Let's just do that. So let's take not even 19, let's take 10. Let's be humble. Let's take half of it. Let's take 10, right? So let's take 10 billion. So 1% of 10 billion is 100 million, right? So 100 million, this is every single day. So 100 million worth of, like we say here, if Bitcoin had our fundamentals, that means, and this just, we're being theoretic right here. We know that you can't stake Bitcoin, okay? But that means 100 million in USDC distributions right now. So those who hold, if we had Bitcoin's volume right now at 10 billion, that means 100 million worth of USDC, 100 million worth of USDC would go to the community. Just every 24 hours, it will come to the community, right? 100 million worth of tokens, VRL tokens, will be banned every single day. So this is why we say we're hyper. This is not just a joke. Literally hyper deflationary token. It's literally a hyper deflationary token, literally. And like we discussed earlier, what makes Ethereum so special? Because it's deflationary, right? What makes Ethereum so special? It's because it's deflationary, right? And as we speak right now, even Ethereum is inflationary right now. You see how supply change? There is more supply. Let me come here. I'm not sure if you're seeing it. Let me zoom in. You see, even Ethereum right now is inflationary. You see how this chart is going up? It used to go down, but now it's going up. It's inflationary. Even Ethereum is inflationary. So it's issuing 924,000 every year tokens, but right now it's banning exactly half of it. Exactly half of it it's banning. So that means this is why you see how even Ethereum is inflationary. Ethereum becomes only deflationary if there's a lot of transactions. So this means there's not enough transactions because all the meme coins are being traded on Solana, right? So nobody wants to be on Ethereum right now. Everybody's on the Solana playground, chasing meme coins. So this is why the volume is not as much. So when there's not enough volume, Ethereum becomes inflationary. And this just shows you that our platform, we can never be inflationary. We can't. With every trade, actually, and let's look at Ethereum right now. Let's be fair and look at Ethereum. Ethereum has a trading volume of 13 billion. How can you have a trading volume of 13 billion yet you're still inflationary. This just shows you how inefficient the market is. This is very inefficient. You can't be having, we did a math with 10 billion, right? So that means Ethereum right now should be banning 100 million worth of tokens right now. They should be banning 100 million worth right now if they had our tokenomics, our mechanism. Ethereum will be banning 1%, which is 100 million worth of tokens right now. Ethereum would be deflationary right now. And they would be retaining, before we go there, the stakers will be having 100 million worth of USDC every single day. The community would. And now, most importantly, there won't be exit liquidity, because we multiplied this by 300 million in one day of liquidity. How insane is this? As we speak, Survivor is out, community. Survivor is out as well. So this is what I want us to understand, community, is there is not enough efficiency in the market, and this is what sets us apart in the industry. We are very efficient, very sustainable, compliant, forward-thinking ecosystem, right? And this literally sets us apart, because to be honest, I didn't expect this, that Ethereum is inflationary right now. This is within the 7 days. Let's see, maybe 30 days. Still, so Ethereum added 46,000 tokens within a month. It added. And it has an unlimited supply. Let's see, maybe, you see, yes. If we look at 1 year, right, and 265 days, you see it is inflation. It is deflationary. So you see the chart going down. So if we go back 1.5 years, almost 2 years, it is deflationary. It is deflationary. But if we just focus on the last, you see, even within an hour, it was deflationary. Within an hour, 2 ETH. But if we look at a day, it's up, it's inflationary. Look at a week, it's inflationary, right? So right now, if we already have such a financial monetary system that is inflationary, that is debt-driven, why would you want to do the same thing? Spain already went through it. Dutch went through it. France went through it, right? The English went through it. So, and it didn't work out for them either. The only reason why it's working out for the US is because Larry Fink, the debt experts, told them the only way we can fix this is by jumping on the bandwagon and using the blockchain technology. And we need to start organizing ourselves and create liquidity funds, starting with Bitcoin. And this is exactly what they did. Let's generate revenue from Bitcoin, use that to purchase US Treasury bills, add it to this liquidity fund, right? And then use the power of compounding and keep buying US Treasury bills and support USDC while we're doing that. Circle, give them the licenses, let them become a full reserve digital bank, right? This is the only way we'll save the US dollar. And we had it here first. This is not mainstream news. So let's give it a couple months. And then every YouTube channel will be talking about it. But for now, it's not mainstream. It's not mainstream right now. But this is the plan. This is what's going on right now. And once these regulations are through, the printing will start. And this is how we'll have the largest bull run in the history of cryptocurrencies. And because we're on the Ethereum blockchain, because we have a sustainable ecosystem, we're going to really benefit from this community. So this is it for today, community. I just want us to remain informed, educated, inspired. I want us to be uplifted, knowing that let's keep showing up. Let's maintain the consistency. Let's be patient. Let's let everything fall in place. Things are in line. Things are working out for us. So let's maintain the consistency. Let's show up. Let's put in the efforts, and let's wait for the bull cycles to come in. Let's wait for the money printer to start printing, but it won't start printing unless the regulations are put in place, right? We see that even the New York Stock Exchange they're considering trading crypto. Everybody wants a piece of crypto, right? And this is why I'm saying the future is bright for us. And it took politics to declare Ethereum commodity, and it took BlackRock also, and it's Ethereum blockchain, and it's the blockchain technology that is going to save the US dollar in this case. So that's it for today, community. Let me come back to you and check with you. Bear with me as I'm refocusing my screen. Let me share with you the screen again. And let's go through your comments. My brother Abdullah says, warm greetings to you all. Warm greetings to you too, my brother Abdullah. I hope you and yours are doing great. Always a pleasure seeing you in the community. Love your comments that you put in on Twitter. You're putting in a lot of effort in making very reasonable comments that are really helpful for everybody reading. So very, very happy about that. Queen Kosi, welcome Queen Kosi. Queen Kosi says, greetings Mama Wino, brother Steve, and entire BULLRUN family. Hope everyone is well and excited. Thankful for yet another time of education and empowerment. Thank you so much, Queen Kosi, for always showing up and being part of these sessions. You're very much appreciated. Queen Lati. Queen Lati also says, welcome Queen Lati. Queen Lati says, greetings BULLRUN family. It's my pleasure to have this opportunity to listen to our great teacher, Steve. Let us open our ears and learn about crypto. We are so much privileged community. Always a pleasure seeing you in the community and having you here with us, Queen Lati. Such a pleasure. Always a pleasure seeing you in the community. Thank you very much, Queen Lati, for your kind comment. And then we have Queen Dumi as well. Hello, Queen Dumi. Always a pleasure seeing you in the community as well. Greetings, BRL family. Greetings back to you also. I hope you are well. Queen Val says, family, let's engage with the tweets, even as we are listening. Killer Whale is out. Yes, Killer Whale is out. Survivor is out as well. And BULLRUN is the last one that is about to come out as well. My great brother Theo is here as well. Always a pleasure seeing you, great brother Theo. A big thank you to my great brother, Professor Steve, for these crucial sessions and for everything you and dearest great Mama Wino consistently do and freely pour into the entire BULLRUN family. Thank you so much for your kind words, my great brother Theo. And it's always a pleasure seeing you also around. Always seeing that familiar face, familiar messages. We really appreciate you, great brother Theo. We hope you and yours are doing great. And thank you, BULLRUN family, for standing strong and unified. Success is an inevitability. Absolutely. Beautifully said. This is why it's important for us to be informed and to understand where we stand. Where are we in the bull cycle? What's happening right now in the economy? Where do we stand right now? What are the elections going to be like? How is that going to affect us? This Brics situation, how is that going to affect us? The developments with the regulations, with the Circle becoming a full reserve bank, with the BlackRock's Ethereum-based liquidity fund that is tokenized treasury. How is that affecting us on the Ethereum blockchain? These are things we all need to understand and need to know, and this is why we really stress on these sessions. Community, I see that BULLRUN is out as well. So this is great. This is great. BULLRUN is out. So let's engage with these tweets, community. Let's ensure that we put the word out, that we are really consistent with the engagement of these tweets. I want to thank you all once more for showing up, for being part of this live stream today. I really appreciate you all for showing up, being consistent, being part of this. I hope this message today, this session today, was able to inform, educate, and inspire you. And let's remain consistent as we approach and as we're looking forward, as we see how all these parts and pieces are falling in line. And once everything has fallen in line and things start really moving the way it should be moving, right, once the liquidity starts pouring into the markets, then we're looking forward to a very, very amazing bull cycle, more amazing than the last one that we've experienced. This one will be really unique. So myself, I'm looking forward to it. I'm really thrilled and curious how this one will play out. All I know is that it will be massive, and based on how things are about to fall in place, especially on the regulatory side, and then based on once the interest rates cuts start and the liquidity starts being rushed into the markets, that's when the fun will start, So the real bull market has not kicked in yet. It can't kick in without infusion of liquidity. It can't kick in without the cutting of the interest rates. And we should know that by now. And all that will take place once the regulations are put in place and the stable coins are required to purchase, excuse me, treasury bills, US debts or European debts. That's the only way it will kickstart. And with the US positioning themselves to have a full reserve digital bank through Circle, to have tokenize everything and have a liquidity fund, and to push forward Circle as the face of the US, those three things will literally bring so much liquidity to the ecosystem, on Ethereum ecosystem, and it will benefit the entire industry. Specifically, of course, it will benefit our ecosystem as well. Community, this is all I have for you today. I really want to thank you all for being part of this today. Always a pleasure having these sessions with you. And I also want to thank all of you for participating today. With that said, community, I want to thank you. And let's see you again on our next community event, which will be on Saturday in our Telegram group. I want to wish you and yours good health, and let's stay in touch. Let's see you again tomorrow or latest by Saturday. Thank you so much. Wish you a wonderful rest of your week, and let's keep in touch. Thank you all.